Hello. This is now the next step of the accordion restoration. So I think it's gone well so far. It sounds quite good at the moment without any tuning of the reeds. But what I'm going to do next is tune the reeds. Now this next bit, I know that people are going to say, "Ooh, you don't do it like that," which happens quite a lot when you post things. So this is just the way that I do it, and I'm sure there's other ways of doing it. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. So this is the way I do it, and I find it works. But obviously, people will say, "Well, no, I do a different way." That's fine. But as long as people are respectful and not saying that what I'm doing is rubbish, I'm perfectly fine with that. So just, yeah, I'm sure people are going to say, "Ooh, I don't do it like that." Anyway, so this is how I'm going to do it. So I've got my reed block out, and I've got a tuner app on here, which I can then use to look at the pitch of the reeds that I'm going to blow some air through with my bellows table. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a check of what I would call the lower set of reeds, because remember there's two sets of reeds, one's tuned slightly sharper than the other. So the ones that are tuned a bit lower, they tend to be the concert pitch ones, and on this accordion they are, so they're kind of set at A440, and the higher ones, the higher little set to give the tremolo, are tuned a bit above that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to concentrate on just what I call the lower set of reeds, which is tuned to concert pitch, and I'm going to see what the tuning is like first of all out of the accordion, and just cure any imperfections that I can out, and then I'm going to put it in and isolate those reeds in the accordion by putting tape over the line of higher set of reeds, so that I can only just listen to the one set of reeds, and see how putting in the accordion changes the pitch of the reeds, if anything. In my experience, it doesn't change it that much, but it will change it a bit. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is to get my little tuner ready. So that's just, where is it? There he is, down here. And so I can see that, and I'm going to blow some air through the reeds on here, and I'm going to see how the reeds are looking in terms of the tuning. When I find one that needs to be tuned, then I'm going to show you how I would tune it. So let's have a quick go. So I'm going to just start in the middle and have a little look. So we've got, that's a B, and on the app it was actually bang on B, so I'm really happy with that. So let's go to next one. Now that one was bang on B flat. That one was a bit sharp. So the outside reed that I can see was a bit sharp. So this reed here, there, was playing a little bit sharp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can flatten that reed. So I'm just going to get some tools ready. So I've got a little blade, and I'm going to use that to support the reed. I'm going to put it underneath the reed, and I'm going to get some tuning files out. So let's go into my little box here. Let's have a look what I've got, and I'm going to find some files. There we are. Just grab those out, put those back in there. Right, so I'm going to find myself, and what I've got here is a very sharpened scratcher. So let's have a look how we're going to get this reed a bit flatter, so it's running a bit sharp. So if I just bring that down a little bit. So that one there. So it was that one there, the B flat, was running a bit sharp. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to support that reed with my blade. Like so. Just carefully hold up. And then I'm going to introduce a little bit of a scratch with my sharpened hardened steel scraper scratcher, but between the rivet and halfway down the reed. Now by putting a little scratch in that section of the reed will lower the pitch of the reed. If I wanted to sharpen the pitch of the reed, if I take a bit off the tip, and I would do that with a little file, a little diamond tip file, just take a little bit off the tip of the reed, that would sharpen it. So if I'm going to put a little scratch between the rivet and halfway along. I'm going to support the reed with my blade. I'm going to put a little scratch on there. So what I'm going to do now is put it back on the tuning table. That one there. Let's have a little look. Now, what I found that by just doing that little scratch, I've got that note both on the push and the pull absolutely spot on. So that little scratch has just done the job. I'm happy with that. That's worked out really well. So let's go to the next one. And the next one, again, the outside reed is blowing a bit sharp. So I'm going to support the reed in the same way, using my blade. And then I'm going to just do a little scratch between the rivet and halfway. And let's have a look at that one. But also I've just spotted that the inside reed is also showing a little bit sharp. So what I can do now, I'm going to show you how I do that one. So to do that, I've got my little fine point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push this little point into the reed block, and I'm going to support the reed from the inside, and I'm also going to put the same kind of scratch on the reed. So I'm going to lift back the valve. I'm then going to just support the reed from the inside, and again a little scratch between the rivet and halfway. Let's have a look at that one. That's cured it. I'm quite pleased with that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go along and have a look at the other reeds on this reed block. So if I find one that needs sharpening, I'm just going to support the reed. If it's an outside reed, support the reed with my blade and just file a little bit off the tip and check it. Always best to do a little bit at a time before taking too much off, just so you get a little bit of a shift. And if it's on an inside reed, what I'm going to do, I'm going to support it from the inside by pushing up like this, pulling the reed back, pulling the valve back, and then either putting a scratch between the rivet and halfway to lower the pitch, or taking a little bit off the tip to raise the pitch. So I'm going to go through this reed block on here, and I'm just going to see if I can get the reeds playing at concert pitch as accurate as I can. Okay. Okay, so I've just gone through the low set, or the concert pitch set really, and I've tuned them up quite close to the pitch on my tuner. So now I'm going to put them back into the accordion. I'm going to tape off the higher line reeds so I can just listen to the concert pitch ones and see how they sound. Now I've done a little bit of tuning. Okay, let's have a look. I'll just put them in and I'll show you what I found. Okay, so I've just taped off one line, that's the higher pitch ones, so I can just concentrate on the concert pitch ones and see how they're sounding in the accordion. I'll just put that reed block back in. Okay, so I've put all the reeds back in and I've isolated the concert pitch ones. And just by playing it, it sounds nice. So it actually sounds in tune. So if I play a little tune, that's quite nice. It's got a nice tone. Now, when I've put them back in, it has changed the pitch. Not all of them, on some of them. So on my little tuner, I'm going to have a little look. So let's have a little test. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to write down on my bit of paper what I'm finding. So here we go. Let's have a little look. So I've got C. I'll start with C here. So C1, that's my first C1, first C note on the push is sharp. So I'm going to just flatten that one a little bit. So the D1 is a bit sharp on the pull. So have a look. So the E1 is sharp on the pull. F sharp, push and pull. The G's fine. A's fine. B's fine. C's fine. D's fine. So the E2 is sharp on the pull. And then the F2 . So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the notes now and just make a note of what the notes are and which ones are sharp, which ones are flat. And then I'm going to take the reeds out, give them a little tweak, put them back in, see how I've done, and then I'll just do a little bit at a time until I get them just right. Okay, so I've made a little chart, a little table if you like, of the notes and which were sharp and which were a little bit flat. Most of them were a little bit sharp, and I made a note of where the push on the pull, and I just went through all of them and did a little bit of tweaking. Not too much, best to do a little bit at a time. And now I've put them back in and had another listen, and actually I'm pretty happy with how they sound, apart from E1 and F1. So the other ones, they're a bit weird. Just looking at my little tuner here, they are behaving themselves. So all I'm going to do is go to the E1, make a little note of what's going on there, and just have another go on those two, and then I'm going to see how that is. So I'm just going to have another go at the E and the F, E1 and F1, making out which is sharp on the or flat on the push or the pull. Take the reed block out, have a little fiddle with that again, a little tweak, and see if I can improve that a little bit. Okay, so I've just had another little go on the E and the F. And they're sounding a lot better now. So I'm actually pretty happy with my single reed, which is the kind of concert pitch reeds, in nice and tune. And by just checking on my little tuner here, they're pretty much spot on, so I'm quite happy with that. So the process was, first we're starting out of the accordion and fixing any bigger imperfections in the tuning, popping them back in, having a listen to the reeds inside, and just making some notes on which ones are sharp and which ones are flat, and where they're on the push and the pull, and then taking the reed block out and do some little adjustments, put the reeds back in, reed blocks back in, have another test, see what's happening, and just by doing a little bit at a time, gradually getting nearer and nearer to a nicely tuned. So this actually sounds quite nice just on one reed. I'll just do a little tune. So I think that sounds pretty nice. So that's the first step. Now the next step is to have a listen then to the two sets of reeds together to get that kind of tremolo sound. So I'm going to take the tape off the treble side, which is blocking up the tremolo reeds, and having a listen to that. And again, start off with it out of the accordion, just put it on the tuning table, see if there's anything that sounds a bit weird, and then put them back in. And this time I'm going to do it all by ear, so I'm just going to be listening to the tremolo and using my own sense of pitch and quality of hearing, if you like, see if I can hear which ones are sounding like a nice tremolo and which ones are sounding a bit sharp and which ones are sounding a little bit flat. So I'll go through that in the next video. So this is just the first step of tuning up the treble side. So the next step I'll go on to tuning up the two reeds playing together. Okay, there we are.